Hello, year two. This is Monday's guided reading lesson. This week, we're going to start looking at some persuasive writing. Now, that means writing such as a letter that has been written to persuade someone to do something or maybe to change something. Here is our first text. It is from a letter from Mr. Big Bad Wolf, and he's writing to the Fairytale Forest Council, who are in charge of the Fairytale Forest. Let's have a look at what he wants to say. So, dear sir or madam, I am writing to you to request your help in eradicating a true menace which has been plaguing our precious forest for months. I have had no reply to my previous 3 letters. I hope that the following will be enough to prompt some sort of action on your part. The menace of which I speak is, of course, little girls. Firstly, it becomes instantly clear to anyone who takes a leisurely stroll through our dear fairytale forest that the presence of little girls has done nothing but damage this once beautiful and sacred natural habitat. Our footpaths, which once meandered delicately between the trees, touched only by animals and falling leaves, are now brutally eroded and scuffed by many pairs of skipping feet. These horrendous beings do not tread lightly when making their way through sun-dappled forests. No, they feel the need to skip and bounce, thundering between the trees, kicking up dust and singing tunelessly as they go. The noise pollution alone caused this incessant crooning has driven away the woodland birds. Secondly, I would like to discuss the littering epidemic. I emerged from my den last week to find what looked like a deliberate trail of breadcrumbs strewn across my path. Needless to say, I swept them right up as to maintain the beautiful view from my doorway. If we are not careful, and if we do not act right away, this careless littering could escalate. Today, it is breadcrumbs on a path, but what next? Streams filled with cupcakes, candy canes hanging from trees. In addition, as if these loathsome beings were not content with filling our beloved forest with debris, there is the barefaced robbery which occurs every time a little girl decides to collect a sweet-smelling bouquet of flowers for an adored relative. Did you know that 1 in every 20 daffodils was picked this spring by little girls? I'm sure that you will agree that something needs to be done before the situation gets out of hand. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, I wish to draw your attention to the scandalous, violent, and even murderous exploits of the little girls who have been in our homeland lately. I have spoken to eyewitnesses who claim that little girls have been breaking into their homes, eating their breakfast foods, breaking their furniture, and even sleeping in their beds. There is no one in their right mind who would not feel outraged if this were to happen to them. Are we no longer safe in our homes? Should we tell our pups to check under their beds for little girls before they go to sleep? These criminals are getting away with breaking and entering, vandalism, and in my case, attempted murder. This week, I myself fell prey to the most terrible little girl of them all, and her elderly accomplice. I warn you, they're clever. They hide behind a mask of sweetness and innocence, and then, before you've even had a chance to fish Granny's knitting from between your teeth, they've set a murderous lumberjack on you. I barely escaped with my life, and I fear that I will have to live with my injuries for the rest of my days. In conclusion, I am sure that you will agree that these vicious, obnoxious, and destructive creatures need to be eradicated from our woodland, where so many of our friends and family reside. Without immediate action, I fear for the future of our forests. I implore you to restore our faith in the council by relieving us of these pests once and for all. Yours faithfully, B.B. Wolf. There we go. Right, as always, you have got some questions to answer now. We're going to have a look at them together to start with. So the first question asks you to give 2 problems that the little girls are causing in the forest. So that's a retrieval question. You've got to find in the writing 2 problems that the little girls are causing. Number 2, It asks, who do you think might have been leaving a trail of breadcrumbs in the forest? So think about the traditional tales you know, things like Red Riding Hood. Who would be leaving a trail of breadcrumbs? Number 3 says, can you find 4 openers in the letter? Now, of course, the best place to look for openers is the start of the different paragraphs. So see if you can find 4 openers. For number 4, it says, do you agree with the big bad wolf that little girls should not be allowed in the forest? Has he persuaded you? If you agree, say why. And if you think he's wrong, say why you don't think he's right. For number 5, it says, I myself fell prey to the most terrible little girl of them all. Was the wolf really innocent, and how do you know? So what do you think? Have a look at what else it says here. This is another retrieval question. You've got to do a bit of inference. So look in the text and see if you can find a clue to see if the wolf was really innocent. And then the final questions. Number 6 says, in the first paragraph, the wolf says he wants help eradicating a true menace. So what do you think eradicating means? Have a think about what he wants to happen. What do you think eradicating means? And then at the bottom, there is an extra challenge. Now, there's lots and lots of words in here that are quite long or perhaps new to you. If there are any words that you haven't heard before, have a look in a dictionary or have a grown-up help you to look them up online and see if you can find out what they mean. As always, send us your learning on eSchools, and we'll see you later. Bye.